Welcome back to this segment and episode of It's All Wood with Charlie and Hoopy. This is a very, very interesting podcast that we're having today. We were finishing up in our last conversation pertaining to the topic of brothers. And we know that that's a dynamic in itself, just to have all one gender, whether it's all girls or all boys. It's just a totally different dynamic. Even for the parents. The parents, I know my late cousin Kevin Childress, who just passed away from COVID-19, who was a great father, a great husband.
Yes.
He was in a house full of girls.
Yeah.
His wife and those daughters.
Yeah.
And I could only imagine what it was like to press for bathroom time.
Yeah.
And all this pink stuff and this lavender stuff. However, we're talking about our experience with our brothers. And again, my co-host, Charlie, we're going to delve right into it. And hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this segment. We also want to say thank you again to the Coalesce Group for being our sponsor and our supporter. We thank you for what you're doing with young people and how you're impacting the educational community, and that you're an advocate for student athletes. Thank you so much through that component of exposure, education, encouragement, enrichment, and empowerment. We applaud you, and we're so thankful to be a partner along with you. So, bro, let's just kind of jump back into it. We left off with the impact that Donald Petway, rest in peace, made in our life,
right,
and how that structure, that was created for us, was so overwhelming when that relationship
when it ended.
Exactly. Right. When it didn't work, we began to see the residue of what was supposed to be, right, and then we ended up having to fend for ourselves.
Right.
So I want to ask this question, regarding our brothers, Poonie and Pi, rest in peace. When you start to think about us being individuals, we were under the same roof, had
right,
the same rules to follow.
Right.
We were accountable to the system that we were under. However, we all had individual choices.
Right.
And so the question that I really want to lead off with is, what was Poonie and Pi like growing up?
First, Pi.
Okay.
Growing up with this dude, man, was like growing up with. He was. You know what's so funny? He was our baby brother,
Yeah.
but he acted like our big brother because he loved his brothers so much, and he was so protective over me and you.
Yeah.
I can remember times where you would go to visit him, and he would have his friends. He would have his friends and stuff there, and he would be like, "Oh man, y'all get out the way, man! Oh, my brother's coming, man! Get out the way! Y'all need to move!" It was almost like he would roll out the red carpet for his brothers, and he did it for you. He did it for me.
Yeah.
He did it for our mom. That's the type of guy that he was. So growing up with this dude, man, was like, I'm telling you, it was like growing up with two big brothers.
Right.
Even though we were the oldest, and he looked up to me and he looked up to you, and but man, he just was so protective over his siblings.
Yeah. And, Yeah, and the wonderful thing about it is, because you were the responsible one, and Poonie was the oldest.
Right.
You guys had the benefit of staying at home.
Right.
Pi and I had to go to the east side every morning.
Yep.
To be there while Mom went to work.
Right.
And this is even when she was with Don.
Right.
And when they broke up, that ritual continued, right?
Yeah.
So we were going to the east side, every day, especially in the summer.
Right.
And I'm really referencing the summer because you guys got to stay at home.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. We got to stay at home, but I'm staying at home with a dude that you have to understand at the time when we was getting left at home, this dude was in a whole lot of stuff. This is when he started. Man, look, this dude that was.
This when he went left.
Man, he went.
Dude, I didn't know that
man.
because we was gone, to
Man,
Big Mama's.
listen, man. There was a morning. I remember this like it was yesterday. There was a morning that he came home, and I was probably 11, and he was probably 13 at the time, and he came home, and it was drunk. But I'm a kid. I don't know what really. I mean, I see stuff on TV.
You're talking about Pooney.
Man, this dude Pooney, he was drunk. So I'm looking at this dude, and he's throwing up on the backboard. I was a wimp kid anyway. So mom.
Well, you didn't. Yeah, you followed the rules.
Look, man, I didn't want no problems. I didn't want no problems. So mom would always leave me the phone number to Big Mama's house.
Right.
I get on the phone.
We knew that by heart.
Man, I get on the phone. Big Mama, Pooney over here throwing up. He throwing. I'm like. She said, well, what's wrong with him? I think he's drunk. She started laughing. I mean, I'm calling my grandmother for some help and some assistance. She laughing, so I'm really like, I'm stifled. Like, well, dang, what do I do now? I'm trying to call my Big Mama for some help and to tell me what to do, and she's laughing at me.
I think she knew what we didn't know, which was he'll probably never do that again if he's at that state.
But
that ain't gonna help you.
Man,
as a
look,
kid.
when you a 10-year-old, 9-year-old boy, and you
nervous.
You see your big brother or your little brother sick or whatever. Yeah. I mean, come on, man, I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Right, I got you.
But that's the kind of dude he was growing up with. You talking about you leaving us at home, but this is what I'm up against. He didn't follow the rules. Mom would leave a note in the morning, and go to the store. She would leave it for me. She would leave me some money and say, go to the store and get you guys some milk and some cereal and whatever.
Yeah.
And but I think as we grew up, Pooney resented me.
Well, he did. He
resented me.
Well, he did because your maturity at that level and at that time was taking the authority out of his hands.
Right.
All he knew, I'm the oldest.
Right.
I'm definitely the biggest.
Right.
So he felt like I'm the oldest, so everything should come through me.
Yeah.
And so when everything was going through you, and then the way Mom was doing it, you have to understand too. Everything was like on a secret order.
Yeah.
It was like we didn't even know when she was having these secret meetings with you and having these things, these instructions. No, I mean, I'm just being real. She was giving you instructions that we were totally unaware of, and then when it's time to happen, all we know is you got the house key. You got the money. You trying to dish out. We're like, what is it going? Dishing out the money. Like, what are you doing with my money? But that's how it was. But I didn't care.
I know you didn't
I was
care.
cool. But he was, really offended by that. Because I think also, too, your maturity shined a light on him. It put him in a position to where everybody knew you're not the responsible one.
Yeah.
You're the oldest, but you're the screw up. So in order for this ship to run smooth, I gotta put the authority into Charlie's hands.
Yeah.
And then you were mild mannered. You did everything Mom asked.
Yeah.
You didn't snitch nobody out, but you did everything she asked. So that made him look like the bad guy. He was always, so now, you remember how I used to say, oh, you think you better than us?
Yeah.
Or you think you,
yeah.
And so over the years, and you're talking about, this is childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 13, he's 12 and 13, but we still kids.
We
kids, right?
Yeah.
And so now I think that was the turning point of all the other residue of emotion that he must have been feeling with, first of all, Dad being an absentee, and then second of all, Don being an authoritative figure, and then now leaving because of him. See, you have to understand this too. You used to tell him, dude, you ran Don away.
Man, I didn't tell him that.
Dude.
Did I tell him that?
I mean, not in a harsh way, but you'd be like, well, dude, you the reason why Don ain't here.
Yeah.
And so hearing that from you is like hearing it from Mom all over again.
Yeah.
So for you to echo what he heard from Mom, Because it took mom a long time to even come to grips with that being the reason. See, she was saying, okay, his parents or his mom really didn't want us to marry. He didn't want us to marry, and at the end of the day, maybe she said, well, hey, son, you got better options. The other kid, he giving you a hard time. He don't listen. He don't obey. He's disrupting everything. So he was a responsible man.
Well, but you have to understand, I've talked to mom about this, and I've asked her about that.
Okay.
And
okay.
her story is something different. She doesn't want, and this is only my opinion, I can't speak for her. She doesn't want to accept that. She doesn't want to accept that
Poonie was a big factor.
She don't want to accept that. And Poonie may not have been that as a whole.
Right.
But he was one of the
factored in.
A big factor.
Okay.
And then what mom doesn't realize is, Mom, this dude ain't our father. He don't have to be here. So if his mother is telling him, well, look, son, them ain't your
got
kids.
Options, yeah.
And so you can't knock Don's mother for her looking out for her son. Because you know what, Mom? You do the same thing with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look out for your boys to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't knock her. You have to go back, Mom, go back and take a look at yourself.
Yeah.
And take a look at that situation.
Yeah.
And say, Don's mother was only being a mother.
Yeah.
She looking out for her boy.
Right.
We weren't his biological kids. So like you said, his mother probably said, well, son,
you got options.
You got options. You don't have to put up.
Educated man.
Yeah,
you're young.
You don't have to put up with this.
You got a great job.
With the one son being disruptive and doing whatever. Because me, you, and Pi wasn't like that.
No. But I think it was a hard decision for him. I don't know if you remember.
I know it was.
He took us out.
I know it was.
For pizza.
Yep.
We came back to the house.
Probably Shaky's son.
Pizza Hut.
Was it Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut was bomb back then. I mean, I always liked numero uno.
Numero uno? Nah, I didn't like numero uno.
What was that, numero uno in the Hawthorne?
No. That's
Round Table.
The Round Table.
I liked Round Table.
When it was real good.
Round Table.
Round Table.
Okay, so Round Table was really the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember him sitting us down at the table.
I remember
Poonie
that.
wasn't there.
Yep. Again.
Poonie wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it was me, you, and Pi.
Yeah.
And he was basically telling us how much he cared for us.
Yeah. And
how he would always be there for us.
Yeah.
I remember the talk like yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
And that was pretty much his exit. Because at that point we didn't really realize he had already moved out.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't
He had already moved out.
Yeah.
But he like a responsible man, dude.
Yeah.
He took time and he sat us down and he gave us the closure that we could relate to at the level that we were at, which is commendable on his part because that goes to show you what type of man he was and person he was. So in all of that, we understand, and then you have to understand, Mom was young, bro.
Yeah.
She was a young, beautiful queen, bro.
No, she was.
And strong.
Yeah. Too strong.
But she was a strong. She had 4 boys, bro.
Yeah.
She was a strong black queen, and she was gorgeous, bro.
Yeah, she was.
She was bad, homie.
Oh yeah, she had them coming at her.
Right. So now you have to understand she's processing everything, and she in love.
Yeah.
She's in love with this man.
Yeah.
This man is in love with her.
Yeah.
He's in love with her kids. But he knows and understands. Plus, he was working in the penal system.
Yeah.
Dude, he saw the writing on the wall. He knew Poonie was never going to...
Well, he knew where he was going.
He told him, though.
Yeah, he knew where he was going.
You're going to end up right here in this system where I'm working.
Yeah, he knew where he was going.
Exactly.
But I think Don struggled for years and years on that decision that he made to leave, because when he left, he never came back. But we didn't see him.
But you know what you're right, but you know what he used to do?
Gone.
You know what he used to do? He used to see him at my games.
Oh, did you?
He used to come and watch me play.
Oh, I
low key. And one day we played Culver City. I'll never forget. We played Carnell Lake and Dion, my boy Dion. You know Dion, that's married to me.
I know Dion.
So we playing against these goons, and I didn't have a great game, but he came down at the end, and Hawk was walking the scene,
right.
And Hawk, he never sweated me,
right.
So I see Don, he kind of at the gate, and I was like, wow,
right.
And and I asked, Hawk, I said, can I talk to my dad? And he was like, yeah. So he comes over and he tells me, he's like, man, you're a great athlete, you got great feet,
right.
Man, blah blah. He was just like wow,
right.
And he was like, I know you guys don't see me that much, but he's like, I've been watching,
that's cool.
from a that meant a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
Because even before he passed away, and I was up for this church in 2009. I'll never forget. I just came home from Virginia. I was up for this church, McKinley Avenue Baptist Church.
I remember. I was
like the last.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember
me and another guy,
right there on 51st or something.
Right. He came to hear me.
Okay.
Preach.
Yeah.
And he told me and Anissa, some good things, and he told me, he said, I'm getting ready to have surgery.
Right.
And I just want you to say a prayer for me, blah blah blah. I believe I'm gonna be all right.
Right.
He gave me his number and everything.
Yeah.
And bro, I couldn't find his number. And it had to be less than 2 months later he passed away.
Yeah, because I remember, man,
he had surgery,
man.
And he had some
complications.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I remember when I hadn't seen him since we was little kids, and then I seen him at Pi's funeral, and I was shocked.
Right.
I was shocked.
Right.
So obviously he must have known where we were. Whatever he had to be following. Yeah, but he had to be. How would he? How would he have known about Pi?
Bro, we had a name.
Wow, that shocked me.
We had a name. You have to understand, man. We were like a mainstay in Inglewood.
Yeah, that
our family, the Paynes,
right,
the Walkers,
right,
Byron Scott and his family,
the
Elliots,
right,
Drew Gordon,
the Salones.
I mean, come on, man.
It goes on and
we
on.
was a family. We was a small, knitted family.
Right.
The Blues Brothers,
right.
Even the guys that were older than us,
right.
The Tatums,
right.
The Fletchers. Right. I mean, the list goes on. The Scoggin brothers that went over to Inglewood, the Suttons.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Philip Shores and those guys. So when you start talking about, Inglewood, it was a small family, and we knew each other.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, I wasn't this all-American guy or nothing like that, but I was in the local paper.
Oh, yeah.
So, he's getting the local papers or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, I don't think it was resentment on his part. I think he made a decision that was probably best for him.
Yeah, at the
that
time. Oh yeah.
Because he knew that he had taken on a new family too.
Yeah.
Well, the woman that he married already had a son.
Yeah.
And then they adopted a son.
Yeah.
So that was the dynamic there. So, not to, spend a whole lot of time there. So, seeing these two grow up, what was a strong characteristic in sharing these moments with Pooney? And since we own Pooney, let's just kind of stay with him, and then we'll end up with Pi.
Okay.
But Pooney, he had some different characteristics, bro.
Yeah, he was.
I mean.
Hey, look, man, this dude. Okay, audience, this is the type of guy that we talking about. Our brother Pooney. This is the kind of dude he was. Me and Cameron, we'll go shopping. We go buy us a brand new pair of shoes. Brand new pair. You guys already know how that is even now. You buy something brand new. It's hanging up in the closet. Shoes are in the box. You haven't even worn them yet. We come home from school. Or I come home from school first. And then Hoop come home and I'll be like, hey, man, that blood dude got on your shoes.
Man.
He got on your brand new pair of shoes. So
he's
the type of cat that would, he would put on our shoes. He don't care if we haven't worn them or whatever. One time he stole my car.
Yeah.
And he down on Crenshaw doing whatever. But the thing about him, he did all this stuff, but we knew that this dude loved us, and we knew that this dude had our back, and we knew that this dude was gonna protect us at all costs. Right. He may flare up on us like he gonna beat us up and blah blah blah, but I think a lot of it was because he really really loved us and he cared, and that's how he showed his love.
Yeah. What I mean,
he was a strong dude.
Yeah,
He had them strong characteristics like
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
She's a Capricorn. He's
Yeah.
a Capricorn. Our
Yeah.
Big Daddy was a Capricorn.
Yeah.
And they all had those same characteristics of strength, but they showed it in different ways.
Of
They,
course,
they,
of
they,
course.
they're not the type that's going to, oh, I love you, and let me tuck you in for the night, and let me, oh, they're not that type.
Right.
But you knew that they loved you.
Of course, of course.
You know.
I mean, my experiences with Pony also was, it goes back to when we were a little younger. I saw his leadership,
Okay.
not in a responsible way.
Yeah, because you was almost a gangbanger.
But yeah,
Hanging with him. He had
Yeah.
to tell you to get your ass home.
right. I saw his innate ability to lead.
Okay.
I knew he was never a follower.
Right.
I knew when he did something with other people, it was because he was down for it.
Right.
It was his decision. It
Right.
wasn't like
It wasn't like
coerced,
right.
Or whatever.
No.
Maybe he did some things that he didn't have enough information on, and it went bad. But as far as
always went bad.
you just going out there just making him do something, he wasn't that type of individual. And so I knew that this quality was influencing, right?
Okay.
But I also knew that he was a protector.
Yes.
And because he was creating a name for himself because of the negativity he was involved in,
Right.
it fell on us because now we're his little brothers. We're a part of, this name that he's creating, right?
Right.
And so he was adamant about, his involvement in the streets. People that knew him in Inglewood knew that, he was repping the hood.
Right.
He was from the hood.
Right.
And he was all the way with it. And so when we went to different parts of the city, even as athletes, some of these guys that went to school with us was like, oh man, that's Curtis' brother.
Yeah.
Or, hey man, them dudes is slobs, or
Yeah,
them
yeah,
dudes
yeah.
is from Bloods or whatever.
Yeah.
But we really never rep that. But because of the affiliation, that was the backlash.
Man, look, we got a pass.
A pass.
Because he was our big brother. I remember there was times I was in school, and I remember we was pitching quarters, and it was Troy Dino. And Troy Dino was a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
And we pitching quarters, and whoever get the closest to the wall, they win the quarter.
Yeah.
Well, I pitched my quarter, and then I beat him. He like, oh man, I lost. My quarter is closer than yours. Oh man, homie, I'm gonna have to take that. And the one dude was like, hey man, that's Curtis' brother. But I didn't need homeboy to say that in because I could have took Troy Dino.
Right.
But it was that type of thing. Like, oh man, that's Curtis' little brother.
Yeah.
Even the Crips, even the remember Angelo and who was the other
Respectable guy, Raymond.
Oh, these dudes is OG from the other side.
And they were older.
But we grew up in that neighborhood, so we
Yeah.
was friends with the Bloods and the Crips because we went to school with them.
Yeah.
And these dudes even know, I mean, that's Curtis and them little brothers. So we got a pass in the neighborhood a lot of times because we would, think about what happened when with E-Bone. When Little Pumpkin took his, hey, come on, E-Bone. I mean, come on, Pumpkin, man, you know my brother. Hey, man, I don't know nobody, man. That ain't my name, Pumpkin.
Right.
But me and you, Pumpkin, know that this is Curtis's little brother.
Yeah.
We
it wasn't even.
It ain't even like that.
I mean, I was identified first.
Come on,
It was like, but the thing about it was, it's almost like once you throw it out there, it's hard to get the reel back in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I knew he knew Bone's brother, but
Pike, OG.
But he was just trying to, downplay it because he was after what he was after.
He was after what he wanted.
was willing to deal with the repercussions
Consequences later.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, all the Inglewood was family at one time.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Until
wasn't,
you laced me to that,
right.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't no CPB,
See, I didn't know
Mafia,
that.
none of that. The whole car
It was Inglewood.
was family.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And then when it was, settled in to where a lot of those G's that was from family started to migrate,
Right.
And, from their part of, their neighborhood.
Right.
And then those other situations began to become accountable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
accredited. So it was basically, at their discretion
Right.
as to them starting those other sects. Because at one time, everybody was family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, in the village and all of that, even though that was a part of Inglewood at one time,
right.
They sectioned it off to be Hawthorne.
Right.
But those guys, too, were from Los Angeles.
Right.
So they was reputable guys. So it wasn't
Very
like they
reputable.
had to, switch over. They never had to embrace, Inglewood is family.
Man.
Because they were coming from
Other parts of LA.
Exactly.
And they had
they
their
was
own
with
thing.
it. They was with it. So
All the way with it.
exactly. So, you have to understand that even those gentlemen was giving guys passes accordingly. It wasn't like
It wasn't everybody could get the pass.
No.
See,
So,
but we grew up with them guys. We went to school with them.
Right.
They was from the other side. We was from the other side. But we all had a mutual respect.
exactly. And that's what it was about.
And them dudes in the village was
It was with it.
the business.
They was with it. They was with it.
Trust me. They
was
held
with it.
their own, and that was the... And the families and the CPBs knew that they held their own. Them dudes was... Come on, man. Them dudes was the real deal.
Yeah.
But back to Poonie real quick before we close this out. I can remember, since you said you brought up Ain't Big, let's rewind it going back then, and you said that she had said something about Don. Do you remember her saying something about Poonie? That he gonna make you cry one day?
Oh, yeah.
And he
I remember
did.
she used to always say that.
And I'ma tell
to
you-
mama. She should tell that
And
to
I'm
mama.
gonna tell you something, man. There was times where she would be on the phone calling the morgue, the hospitals, every police
department,
station,
yeah.
because we looking for Poonie.
Right.
We looking for this dude.
Right.
This dude, and people probably don't understand this, Poonie, as a teenager, Poonie probably was arrested over 100 times.
Not 100.
Hoopy. This dude was getting arrested every single week for years.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
For years.
Since
he was like 12 and 13.
11,
for
dude.
years.
Remember they found him up under that car? He had broke into Tropicana.
Come on, dude.
He was 11, dude.
Dude, remember he got
He
caught.
was in the 6th grade.
Okay, remember he got caught in Zodi's?
And all that. It was
He
closed.
stayed over. It was closed.
He stayed overnight.
This dude, so mom, he really took mom through a lot of emotional roller coaster stuff. We wasn't all the way mature enough to really realize that this dude could get killed or whatever. But mom's was an adult.
Yeah, she knew.
So she was on a super emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And whether she want to say it or not, he was her favorite.
Yeah.
He was her favorite.
Yeah.
He was the favorite.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna admit it.
Yeah.
He was the favorite.
Yeah.
So she took this dude. I mean, he took moms through an emotional stuff, dude.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of guy and the kind of young teenager that he was. Even up until when he was 16, he went to camp, he came home, he would get in trouble again. You know, I may have exaggerated with 100 times, but he got arrested over 50 times as a teenager.
He got
as
arrested
a lot.
He got arrested
And mom had to take on all that emotional stuff by herself. At this point, Don was there for a little bit of it, and then when Don had left, then Poonie was still doing the same thing. He was really out of control when Don had left. He was like, okay, he ain't at home no more, so I'm really on one.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah. That was pretty much that was his nature. I mean, that's he rebelled. Authority was just not his thing, and he would speak to that to this day, understanding that being gone all this time and having an opportunity to be released. Contingent upon him doing those programs, he told me personally over the phone that he finally get it.
Yeah, I hope so.
And he understands that there's rules and regulations to everything.
Yeah.
But he's willing to do what they asked him to do. So he can get back into
back in society. I think in a lot of ways when he got locked up, it was a relief for mom.
Well, she knew where he was at.
She knew where he was at.
She would say that sometimes.
I'm telling you, because man, it was times where we couldn't even move to certain neighborhoods. You remember when
we couldn't move to
certain remember when we had to move to
102nd
and the Raymond, and the Crips, the Hoovers,
man,
X-Ray,
man,
and Peanut, and all them dudes chased him.
Man,
them dudes. I mean, that dude. You remember they took your gloves?
Your gloves. I was wearing your leather gloves with the rabbit fur, and it was me and DC. David Clark. Me and David Clark. We walked to the.
I remember that.
We walked to the.
Y'all was on Prairie, wasn't you? On Prairie?
Prairie.
On 104th.
105th.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. 104th.
Yeah, it was the dairy was
at the dairy. So we walk up there, get something from the dairy, and they in there.
He said they in there.
So they leave out first.
They in there.
We handle our business.
Right.
You know, we on our way out. They turn around and he's like, "Hey, homie, you know, let me check out those gloves."
Wow.
And I was like, you know, I'm like showing them.
Right.
And he's like, "No, let me try one on."
Man.
And I was like, "Why you want to try it on? You know, I'm whatever."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, let me just try one of the gloves on." So I let him try one on, and he was like, "Well, let me try on the other one." I said,
Oh,
"No."
wow.
I said, "No, you're not trying on the other one." And he was like, "Man," I said, "Cuz let me try on the other one."
Wow.
And I was like, "No, man, you're not trying on the other one. Matter of
Wow.
fact, give me my glove back."
Mm.
And he raised up the dude. The other dude raised up. He had a gat on.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Here you go, man.
And David was like, you know, like,
Give him the glove.
Just give him the glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I gave him the gloves. He took them, and you know, at the end of the day, we get back to the apartment. He there.
Yeah.
So I tell
I think
Mom,
it was X-ray.
It was, but he didn't take the gloves. It was
One of his
it
dudes.
was Lil Duck.
Right. Oh, Lil
so,
Duck.
So Mom is like, where is he at? You know, she you know,
Yeah.
she ain't scared of
Yeah.
nothing.
Mom's a gangster.
So I said, he right there. So she go up to him and she's like, "Hey, you took my
Oh,
son's
yeah, I think I
gloves?"
remember that.
And he was like, "No, ma'am, I and he really didn't."
Okay.
And then the other dude kept walking because he had
Okay.
the gloves on him, and he went into X-Ray's apartment.
Okay.
So and I was like, "No, it was the other dude."
Oh,
and she
okay.
was like, "Yeah, y'all better get those gloves back." And you know, he kind of was like, he wasn't really disrespectful,
Right.
but they didn't get them gloves back.
Right. Wow.
But you know, so you know, when we think about the dynamic of us being different individuals, you and I choosing athletics,
Right.
and then later on you choosing to work. Pi got into football, and we'll go into his story
Right.
in the last segment. But Pony overall was really a mainstay in Inglewood.
Right.
And he opened a lot of doors for us to have normalcy.
Right.
I'll just put it like that. I'm not glorifying
What he
what
did.
he was about,
Right.
but he was committed to that.
Yes,
and
sir.
he was really real at it.
Yes, sir.
And so he, you know, I didn't get involved in it because he didn't want me involved. in it.
Right.
It wasn't that I didn't have the temperament. I didn't have, you know, the willingness to do it. But
He didn't
I
want you
believe
involved.
he didn't want me involved
'Cause he knew what it
didn't
was.
want us involved.
Yeah.
And so with that, you have to honor him for saying, "This is my choice.
Right.
I'm not going to let you make this choice
Right.
because of me or
Right.
whatever."
Right.
And I think to me, that was always like a father figure,
Yeah.
even though he was our older brother.
Yeah.
But he provided protection and a form of security, because the word was, "Don't ever mess with my little brothers."
Yeah.
That was it. If you got a problem,
Yeah.
you know where I'm at.
Come see me.
Come and see me,
Yeah.
or whatever, or we'll see each other on this
Yeah,
field.
for real.
But don't mess with my little brother. But I mean, that ain't no code.
Oh, I know.
Everybody is subject to getting handled.
Oh, I know.
That ain't no code, but that was what he put out there.
Right,
because it was going to be really on. Like all of them, they probably was like, "Man, you mess with my family, it's going to be bad."
Yeah.
You know, but I'm thankful that he was able to keep that life segregated
Right.
from us.
Right.
And if you remember, and I'll let you kind of, you know, close it out, but if you remember, we ain't never got our house shot up.
No.
We ain't never got our apartment
You know what?
shot
You're
up.
right. We ain't never had.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're
so,
right.
So his whole thing was,
I'm gonna keep home safe.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna. Yeah, I ain't gonna.
because number one, not only do I have to come here, my family is laying their head here.
Yeah, my mom and my little brothers. You're right. He never.
So
had,
he never.
even the
he was calculated
yeah,
like that.
Even the other. You know, sometimes you have beef with even dudes in your own gang. They never came to the house.
No.
So he always kept that separate.
Not on that order.
Oh, no,
but
no.
They came to pick him up.
Right. But
You know what I'm saying?
they never came like trying
No.
to start some stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. So you know. So I mean, as we close this segment, you know, we'll touch on Pi and how that dynamic was for him. You know, being the youngest.
Yeah.
And then us losing him.
You know, you could have been a gangbanger though.
Oh yeah.
You know that
easy.
You know,
Easy.
you remember we had to fight, right? You beat me.
No, dude.
Dude,
You bombed on me.
you
dude.
bombed on me first.
No.
Dude, we was in the kitchen, and you. I don't know what we got into, but bam, you bombed him like this dude bombed on me.
No.
So I bombed on you.
No,
And then you bombed on me. I'm like, Rodney, get this dude off me.
You bombed on me.
Rodney had to get you off me.
But you
bombed first.
No.
I think I did bomb.
You bombed first, dude, because I had on your shirt. I had on one of your shirts.
Okay. Did I tell you to take it off? Or
It
something?
was hot that I even had it on.
Yeah, take off my stuff.
So we was arguing, and you took off, dude.
Yeah, you took off bad.
That's crazy.
You know Rodney was there, right?
Yeah, Rodney was there.
Was he on 107th?
No, we was on Fairview. And Rodney was like,
No,
"Dude,
we was on 107th, wasn't we?
No, we was on Fairview.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, it started in the kitchen. It started in the kitchen. But,
oh, this dude beat me up. I'm
No.
like, man, Rodney, get this dude off me, man.
no.
You could have been a good gangbanger, dude. You beat me up.
No, I mean, I was, my whole thing was, number one, we was trained and brought up not to fight each other.
For sure.
That was number one.
For sure.
We roughhoused and all that. But
we didn't fight each other.
No,
yeah.
I mean,
mine wasn't having that.
No.
She didn't even like when we argue or disagree.
No,
She's
no.
that to this day now.
Exactly. She
ain't having that.
Even with Pooney, I mean, he'll grab you and try to rough you up, but we wasn't allowed to just fight each other.
Nah.
And then at the end of the day, we never got that angry at each other to want to
we really
do
did.
That. No,
yeah.
no.
Maybe at Pooney, but never, he got our stuff on. But
Right. So, closing out this segment helps us, really understand that, there's a lot of validity to where we are today. And so we want to say thank you again for sharing with us as we close out episode number 4 and look forward to starting, the third part to this. We want you to stay tuned because we're going to give out some links to where you can find this podcast on YouTube. Yeah, like, subscribe, and share. And so we'll provide the link in a few moments so that you can follow us and share your questions. Give some feedback. Help us to to understand how this is
relevant.
Exactly, and affecting you. So thanks again. We'll see you shortly. Take care.
Peace and love.